Hi guys, this is O-Level Chemistry, paper 12, June 2016, question 11. Gases can diffuse through porous spots. The diagram shows a beaker full of nitrogen inverted over a porous pot containing carbon monoxide. Okay, let's understand this diagram. We have got a pot, we've got carbon monoxide in the pot, then we've got nitrogen in the beaker. Okay, and we've got water in this glass U-tube. The water level does not move. Which statement explains this? Nitrogen is almost inert. That's a fact for nitrogen, but that does not explain why the water does not move. The two gases have equal molecular masses. So let's check. We've got nitrogen gas, N2 is 14 into 2, which gives us 28. And we've got carbon monoxide, CO, which is 12 plus 16, which is also equal to 28. So yes, the two gases have equal molecular mass. Next, both gases have two atoms in a molecule. That is also a fact, but does not explain why the water does not move. And neither gas is soluble in water. This is also a fact, but does not explain why the water does not move. So the only logical explanation here is that both the gases have the same molecular masses, so they will have no effect on the movement of the water in the glass U-tube, making option B the correct option for this question. Question 12. Copper is purified by electrolysis. Which statement is not correct? Both electrodes contain copper, so purification of copper will involve a pure copper cathode and an impure copper anode. Copper is both oxidized and reduced in the process. Yes, copper from the anode is oxidized to copper ions, and copper ions in solution are reduced to copper at the cathode. Pure copper is deposited on the positive electrode. Positive electrode is the anode. That is where oxidation occurs. Pure copper is deposited at the cathode where reduction occurs. So this point is incorrect. And the last one, the electrolyte is aqueous copper 2 sulfate. Yes. So options A, B, and D are all correct. However, the question asks for the one that is incorrect, making option C the correct option for this question. Question 13. Concentrated aqueous sodium chloride is electrolyzed using inert electrodes until no more chlorine gas is evolved. What could be the pH of the resulting solution? So, we have liberation of hydrogen at the cathode and of chlorine at the anode. So, when chlorine is removed, Na positive ions remain, and when hydrogen is removed, OH negative ions remain. These combine together to form NaOH. Okay, what could be the pH of the resulting solution? So NaOH is a strong base. So the options are 1, which is acidic, 4, which is weakly acidic, 7, which is neutral, and 11, which is basic. So since 11 is the only pH available for a base, option D is the correct option for this question. Question 14. Ammonia can be produced industrially from nitrogen and hydrogen. The forward reaction is exothermic, okay, which makes the backward reaction endothermic. Which change would not alter the yield of ammonia? Okay, yield of ammonia. Adding a catalyst? Okay, this is the answer because adding a catalyst only speeds up the rate of reaction. It has no effect on the position of the equilibrium, because of which it has no effect on the yield of ammonia. The other options are decreasing the pressure. A decrease in pressure favors the side with the greater number of moles, which is the reactant side. So equilibrium will shift backwards, decreasing the yield of ammonia. Next, decreasing the temperature. Decreasing the temperature will favor the exothermic side of the reaction, which is the forward direction. So equilibrium will shift forward. increasing the yield of ammonia. And removing some of the ammonia during the reaction, if the concentration of the products is decreased, the reaction will move in such a way as to increase the concentration of product. Therefore, the reaction would move in the forward direction, increasing the yield of ammonia. Therefore, the correct option for this question is option A. Question 15. The diagram shows an energy profile diagram for a chemical reaction both with and without a catalyst. Which energy change is the activation energy for the catalyzed reaction? So activation energy is the energy difference from the reactant till the point of maximum energy known as the transition state. So in this diagram, A represents the activation energy of the uncatalyzed reaction because the transition state is higher than the one which is represented by the energy gap B. Therefore, B is the activation energy for the catalyzed reaction. C is the delta H for this reaction, and D would be the delta H plus the activation energy for the uncatalyzed reaction. So out of these four, they want us to give the activation energy for the catalyzed reaction, making option B the correct option for this question. Question 16. Oil floats on water. Which statement is not true of oil and water? Oil and water are immiscible. This statement is correct. They are immiscible. Oil is a non-polar liquid and water is a polar liquid, so they will not mix with each other. Oil is less dense than water. No. Yes, yes, yes. Oil is less because oil floats over water. So oil has to be less dense than water. Some molecules in oil have a higher relative molecular mass than water. Some molecules in oil have a higher, yes, that is true. That is true. Some molecules will have a higher MR than water. That means higher than 18. And the type of bonding within water molecules is different from the type of bonding within molecules in oil. No, both contain covalent bonding. The type of bonding is the same. None of them contain any other type of bonding, for example, ionic. So that is not there. Both of them are covalently bonded molecules. Therefore, since the question is asked which statement is not true, the correct option for this question is option D. Question 17. Which process does not involve the use of a catalyst? The extraction of iron from hematite in a blast furnace? Yes. This is a reaction of hematite Fe2O3 with 3 moles of carbon monoxide forming 2 moles of iron metal and 3 moles of carbon dioxide. There is no catalyst involved in this process. The manufacture of sulfur trioxide has vanadium 5 oxide as the catalyst involved. The production of ammonia from nitrogen and hydrogen has either iron or iron 3 oxide involved as a catalyst, and the redox reaction that remove combustion pollutants from car exhaust, which means the catalytic converter has platinum or rhodium or palladium or any combination of these metals in the catalytic converter. So the only process that does not involve the use of a catalyst is the extraction of iron from hematite in a blast furnace, making option A the correct option for this question. Question 18. Which statement does not describe a reduction reaction? Electrons are gained during the reaction. Gain of electrons is reduction. Hydrogen is gained during the reaction. Gain of hydrogen is reduction. It takes place at the negative electrode during electrolysis. Negative electrode is the cathode, and cathode is the electrode where reduction takes place. and oxygen is gained during the reaction. Gain of oxygen refers to oxidation, and when we refer to only oxidation, reduction is not being described by this statement. Therefore, the correct option for this question is option D. Question 19. The pH of an aqueous solution of hydrochloric acid is 2. What will be the pH of the acid after the addition of 10 grams of sodium chloride? Now, NaCl is a neutral salt. If we add any neutral salt to a solution of a strong acid, it will have no effect on the pH of that acid. Therefore, the pH will remain 2, making option B the correct option for this question. Question 20. 1 mole samples of each of the solid carbonates of lead, calcium, barium, and magnesium are reacted in turn with excess dilute sulfuric acid. Okay. Solid carbonate is there, excess dilute sulfuric acid is there. Which sample of carbonate will release the greatest volume of carbon dioxide gas? Okay. So we've got barium carbonate, we've got calcium carbonate, we've got lead carbonate, and we've got magnesium carbonate. Now, what will happen is that when the carbonates react with the acid, so they will form sulfate. So, barium sulfate is insoluble, calcium sulfate is insoluble, lead sulfate is insoluble, whereas magnesium sulfate is soluble. That means when barium, calcium, and lead will form sulfates, the sulfates will coat the remaining carbonate, and since it will not dissolve, the remaining carbonate will not be left exposed to the sulfuric acid. Therefore, only a small quantity of gas would be produced. Whereas, since magnesium sulfate is soluble, when it will form, it will dissolve in water, exposing the remaining magnesium carbonate to react with sulfuric acid, releasing more of CO2 until all of the magnesium carbonate has completely reacted. So the carbonate that will release the greatest volume of carbon dioxide is magnesium, making option D the correct option for this question.